Alright, kids, let's get started. Today, during our math class, we will be talking about big numbers. And to get started, I would love to play a game with you. For this game, I will need 3 volunteers. Who's going to volunteer? Thank you for raising your hand. Peter, Susie, John, come over here. I will give you a dice. Your job is going to be to roll the dice and grab the number you rolled in the color of your dice. Are you ready? Okay, grab this one. Okay, what numbers did you roll? You rolled 4, 4, and 8. Okay, now let's put them onto the board. But make sure to match the color to the color on the board. So 8 is going to be first, then 4 and 4. What number did we create? Yes, thank you for raising your hand. What number is this? 844. You got that. How about we'll make even bigger number? I will need 3 more volunteers. So this is when the 3 more volunteers will roll their dice and they will come up with another number and then we will practice few more numbers that the kids will come up with by rolling the dice. All right, those were really big numbers that we came up with. But today I want to introduce you to even bigger number. The numbers that have millions in them. So those numbers will be arranged into groups of 3 places called periods. The millions, thousands, and ones. So how much is the million? Let's take a look at the book that I have over here. It's called How Much is a Million by David Schwartz. Pictures by Stephen Kellogg. Look at those numbers. We know those numbers. 1, 10, 100,000, 10,000, 100,000, and a million. Marvelissimo, the mathematical magician. I think this is the guy. If 1 million kids climbed onto one another's shoulders, they would be taller than the tallest buildings. Do you know what the tallest building is? It's Burj Khalifa in Dubai. Do you know how tall it is? It's like super tall. It's 2,717 feet tall. Really tall. Higher than the highest mountains. What's the highest mountain? Yes? Everest Mountain? You're right, it is. It's 29,031 feet above the sea level. That's like many times more than the tallest building. And farther up than airplanes can fly. If you wanted to count from 1 to 1 million, it would take about 23 days. If a goldfish ball were big enough for 1 million goldfish, ooh, look at that, that's a lot. That's a big ball. It would be large enough to hold a whale. Woo. Huge. Presto, 100 stars. If this book had 1 million tiny stars, they would fill 70 pages. Climb aboard. Look at this. They're flying in the stars. still flying. Look how many stars that is. Still flying. Still flying. There you have 100,000 stars. If we take this 7-page journey 10 times, we'll pass 1,000,000 stars. Let's not do that. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. The end. So how much is 1,000,000 stars? And how much is the million? That's a big number. Well, let's practice writing those numbers, because one day we will need to be able to read a book like this on our own with that many numbers. Such big numbers. So, how are we going to do that? If you remember, for the other numbers, for the smaller numbers, we practiced those thousands and ones. And each period that we had, like in thousands and ones, there were places, value places that repeated, that were hundreds, tens, and ones. I made a note for you over here to remember and remind yourselves. So hundreds, tens, ones. And this repeats in millions as well. It would be hundreds, tens, ones. Hundreds, tens, ones. Hundreds, tens, ones. So if I were to add one more number for you over here, like this, hundreds, 282 millions, 429,844. So let's practice writing numbers like this. How do you think we would write 15,296,086? So let's start with the millions. 15, we will write down 15, and you can write with me on your worksheets. So 1 represents the tens, 5 represents the ones. So 15 million, and the next number, do you remember what that was? 296,086. Remember, when there is nothing in the hundreds, then we put 0. And we just don't say it. So what number did we write? 15,296,086. This is when I would let kids practice on their own in the worksheet as a guided practice, and then we would move on to writing the numbers in words. So how are we going to write this number over here in words? Well, just like we say it. We're gonna start with the millions. What do we have in here? Yes, 200. Just like we say it with our mouth verbally, that's what we're also going to write. 280. And then we need to say what period it's in. So that's going to be millions. Then we continue into the thousands. So what number do we have in here? 429,000. 400. 29,000. and then we go into the ones period. So 800, 44. That's right. And if you notice, if we're writing the numbers in the standard form, we separate the periods with commas to make it easier for us to count. But when we're writing the whole number, we are not putting any commas. So that's how you do it. Now it's going to be your turn. Take a look at the numbers that you have written on your worksheet, and you will write it yourself. And then we will check that together. So this is how they will practice again, and then we would move on to more practice activities for them to practice the learned material.